Welcome to the 2012 Coaches Championship Awards Banquet. We have an exciting program for you tonight as we honor many outstanding individuals for their accomplishments in and contributions to high school athletics. To welcome you this evening is Mr. John Gross, President of the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
Hope everybody's doing good tonight. Just like to welcome you on behalf of the High School Athletic Association to, end up a great sports week. We've had a great week this week. What a good way to end it up tonight, honoring these champions tonight with this banquet. A lot of time has been, spent away from families and with these administrators and coaches here tonight, and it's well-deserved honoring them here tonight, and we'll do a good job with that, and I'd just like to welcome you to do that. Right now, Myra Miles is going to come up and do our invocation, and then we'll have our meal.
Will you bow your heads, please? Dear Lord, we come to you tonight thanking you for all the many blessings that you bestow upon us every day. We're here tonight to celebrate these championship coaches, student athletes, and championship programs. May we all strive to be champions in our everyday walk with you. Lord, we know that you're the ultimate champion, and may we always look to you to guide us in all of our ways. Please bless this food to the nourishment of our bodies and our bodies to your service. In Jesus' name, amen.
At this time, I'm going to ask you to please stand for the presentation of the colors. The colors will be presented tonight by the Maxwell Gunner Base Elite Honor Guard, and I ask that you remain standing for the national anthem to be sung by Hannah Wooster, a senior at Alabama Christian Academy.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Banquet. You remember a few years ago when we came in here at lunch and we rushed through this banquet? Now this banquet is a very distinguished and honorable banquet, and it's a great way for us to honor your accomplishments during the school year. I also want to thank the AHSAA staff. First, our ladies, who have done an outstanding job this week I think Sandy and Vanda are sitting down at the table below. And then we have Whitney, and I know Candace helped today, and Amanda is not here, or Anna, excuse me, who's not here. Let's recognize all the ladies in the association for a great week. Sandy, you and Vanda stand right there. Y'all stand up. Sandy is very shy. I'll pay for that on Monday. Two people are ultimately responsible for this banquet tonight. Coach Alvin Briggs, the director of our Coaches Association, and Miss Denise Ainsworth, who is our director of special programs. Both of them, there was a lot that went into this banquet, all the banquets we've had this week, all the meals we've had this week, all the professional development. They've done a tremendous job. Let's recognize them. Y'all both please stand. Let's recognize them. Great job. Now, you know Coach Briggs thought of all those candles on the tables, don't you? And all the little nice name tags. Good job, Alvin. I'm glad you thought of that. I really am. Thank you, Denise. And all the AHSAA staff, what can I say about them? They, again, another tremendous job. You know, I told this story this morning. I tell them they have to work a minimum of 32 weekends for this job. And this was last weekend. They worked Saturday. They worked Sunday. They were up here on Sunday checking everybody in. And I, you know, Wanda, Tony, Greg, Ron, Jim, all of them, just a great job. Would y'all please stand and thank you for a great job that you did this week. The theme for this banquet is making a difference. And that's what each of you do every day in the school mission field. You do make a difference in the lives of these student athletes. Tonight, every one of you that are honored have made a difference, either through your professionalism as a coach or athletic director, or through the achievements of your teams on the field. But above all, you've taught. You've all been teachers. And you've taught someone, not by sometimes what you've said, but how you've done it. Not only have you taught the student athletes, you've taught your entire communities. And in some cases, you've taught many how to believe when they didn't believe. You taught them they could when they never dreamed that that was an opportunity. So I thank you for making a difference in the lives of our student athletes. Most importantly, I thank you for the educational lessons that you've taught through athletics. In Alabama, I'm very proud of the perspective by which we approach athletics, educational athletics. And I thank you for the educational opportunities you have all provided through athletics. At this time, I will ask Mr. Alvin Briggs to come forward, and Alvin will say a few words. Let's give Alvin a great big hand. Great job this week.
Good evening. On behalf of the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the countless coaches, students, community throughout the state of Alabama, I want to congratulate all you coaches and all you family members for being here for this banquet and helping these coaches celebrate such a great evening. You know, without your support from each one of you, these coaches would not have the energy and the desire to complete their task. You know, they have to have someone at home that supports them, that understand that not only are they having to take care of their own homes, they're having to watch over the other people's kids and other people's children to make sure they're doing what they need to be doing in the classroom, in the hallways, and of course in those dangerous streets. You know, we talk about what we do on the playing surface and off the playing surface, But most of the time, all the gray hairs that we get as coaches and as teachers are worrying about our student athletes after they leave us. What are they going home to? And because of you and what you stand for, those students believe in you, and those desires have what propelled you to be here as state championship coaches. So I want to offer thanks and congratulations.
To introduce tonight's keynote speakers, again, is Mr. Steve Savarese.
Excuse me if I look like I'm uncomfortable when I'm standing here. Jim has a to-go box, and he's asked every one of us up here. You know, Jim is single while his wife's away, so he's got a to-go box here, and he just moved it, and I really appreciate that. He wanted to make sure, he said, Coach, I got to have enough to get me through Sunday. So we all shared our dinner with Jim tonight. It's my honor at this time to introduce our State Superintendent of Education, Dr. Tommy Bice. Now, I have this long biography of Dr. Bice, but what I want to say about Dr. Bice is he's a visionary. We are so fortunate to have a visionary leading our state. There's an old saying, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. Well, I can tell you this, mark my words, 10 years from now, we won't have what we have today. He's going to take us to new levels as the State Superintendent of Education. He's a wonderful person, a family man who has 3 children and resides in Alexander City. He's been an educator at all levels, from a teacher to a special ed coordinator, to a principal, a superintendent, to assistant state superintendent, to now our state superintendent. Besides that, he loves children. And that's what I like about Dr. Bice so much. When I asked him to speak tonight, I asked him about another function. He said, yes, just like that. A lot of times, people who have very busy schedules, let me check my schedule, see what I could do. Boom, he said yes right away. We have a teacher leading our state who is going to lead us all into our next generation and bring Alabama education to new heights. Let's welcome our State Superintendent of Education, Dr. Tommy Bice.
Thanks, Coach. I was getting a little nervous. If you'd gone much further, most people would think you just couldn't keep a job. So I'm probably the most blessed man in the state of Alabama that I've had lots of wonderful experiences as a teacher and as a principal, as a coordinator, as a superintendent. And I really want to thank you for allowing me to be part of this tonight. It means a lot to me. And it really means a lot to me having this partnership with the Alabama High School Athletic Association. The State Department takes that partnership very seriously because we know the role that you play in making sure that our children have opportunities. And it's a special opportunity for me tonight to be with these coaches who have achieved the unbelievable. Some people never get to experience this, and you have, and I'm very, very pleased to be part of that. And Coach, there's something that you may not know about me that's not on my bio. I did a little coaching myself at one point. My first teaching job was at the Alabama Institute for the Deaf and Blind. And I had not coached before. I was a teacher in special education. And our coach of our track team, our wrestling team, and our swim team, and I know when I said track team at the School for the Blind, you probably got a little nervous, but we did have a wonderful track team. But he became ill when our team was traveling to the national championships for School for the Blind. And I was tapped to be the coach, to take this group of blind students to Macomb, Illinois, to participate in track and field, wrestling, and swimming. They'd been for 30 years in a row and had never won, and we won the national championship for Schools for the Blind in 1980. I've never let the coach live that down because I was a substitute coach and it took me going for them to win that, but did want to share that I had thoroughly enjoyed that experience and wanted to bring that to the table. But I've served as a teacher, I've served as a principal, high school principal, as a superintendent, and I know all too well the role that athletics plays in the total school program, and promise you that we bring that perspective to this position of state superintendent and acknowledge how valuable that role is. And I'd like tonight just to share a couple of experiences with you that are very specific that kind of bring that acknowledgement home. When I became superintendent in Alexander City, it was when we started into this whole proration cycle that we've been in now, it seems like for a decade. But obviously, when you start having to make cuts, a lot of people who don't understand the value of athletics look at athletics as one of the first things to begin cutting. But we had a wonderful coach then, Coach Pam Robinson, who coached softball and volleyball, who's now the athletic director at Benjamin Russell High School, who came to see me, and she sat down and said, "Tommy, I need to talk to you about this whole idea about cutting coaching supplements and supplements to support coaching and athletic teams," which I didn't want to do, but we had people on the board that saw that as a viable option. She said, "If you really think about it, it's the best investment in at-risk funding in the state of Alabama, a one-to-one correspondence, because what other program can impact so many children for such little amount of money when you divide it out?" And when we put it in that perspective and took it to our school board, it passed without exception. So I hope that as we continue through some very trying economic times, that we can keep that perspective and get school boards and others across the state to understand the value that you bring to the table in serving children that might not have a place otherwise, because it really is some of the best at-risk funding I've ever seen. Another perspective that's so applicable for tonight is I was very fortunate in my 4th year as principal at Benjamin Russell High School to be part of a 5A state football championship. It was something that we had aspired to for years. If some of you recall, we had been to the championship the year before with Homewood, who we also played in that championship game. The prior year championship game was the one that went into 5 overtimes before they finally defeated us, which was probably one of the most exhausting experiences I've ever been through, but one of the most exciting, and it built this huge rivalry between our two schools and our two teams. But we were able to come back the next year and make it to the finals with Homewood yet again and defeat them. And I cannot imagine that we could have ever done anything at Benjamin Russell High School that changed the culture of that school, that changed the culture of our faculty, that changed the culture of our entire community by winning that championship. And I share that with you tonight because I look around this room and know that many of you have just done the exact same thing for the communities that you represent. So what you did was far beyond the sport that you coach and the impact that it has on the entire community. It's been a decade since that occurred, but I look back on it and relish that experience regularly. I loved my experience as a high school principal, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I'd do it again tomorrow if I had the chance. I loved every second of it, mainly because of the excitement that athletics brought to the table. But the third thing I want to share with you, and Wanda told me they had an hour and a half, so I've just got a few other things I want to share with you. The last thing I want to share with you seriously is a true story about how athletics has an impact on at-risk children. Steve's heard some of my stories before of some of my experiences, but at-risk kids are very important to me. All kids are, but especially at-risk kids, because at-risk kids usually are at risk not by their own choosing, because of the circumstances they've been dealt. And I was very fortunate mid-career to open an inner-city alternative school in inner-city Birmingham and meet 36 of the most wonderful kids I've ever met in my life that the rest of the education community had determined weren't of much value. They'd been expelled, suspended, gone through the juvenile system, not succeeded there, and been sent back to school. And I was asked to take those 36 kids and do something with them. And I learned very quickly that they had just as much potential as kids across town in more affluent areas if they'd been given opportunities, and opportunities to find their voice, to find their place, to find a way to connect to this thing we call school. And athletics could be a big part of it. So at-risk kids have a big part in my desire to see athletics play across the state. But I want to share the story about a kid in Alexander City that kind of personifies this. It's a true account of a journey of a young man who, based on all predictions in his elementary years, would be a high school dropout and ultimately incarcerated. Luckily, that didn't happen. I don't recall that I ever really knew what his diagnosis was. I'm sure that based on his behavior, it probably changed about every week. But what I do remember of him as a young elementary student, he could clear a room in a heartbeat. Desk, students, teachers, when he had one of his temper outbursts, everybody cleared because nothing was safe. The only way we could ever get him to calm down was to get his mother to come to school and whatever she could do to calm him down. We never really knew what triggered those outbursts, but I actually spoke to him yesterday, Coach. I called him, and I said, tell me again what it was that was going on with you when we had all those issues with you back in elementary school. And he said, Dr. Bice, people just didn't understand me. They just didn't listen to me. They didn't listen to my stories. But needless to say, we tried to listen, but it wasn't successful. But it became successful when he was in the 6th grade, getting ready to go to the middle school, and a very brilliant teacher thought maybe he could get involved in football and take some of this energy and direct it in a positive direction. It became probably one of the best decisions that somebody made for a young man that you can imagine. It didn't go real well at first because, number one, the coaches wanted to make sure that he didn't kill all the other students. So he had to kind of get his energies going in a certain direction, but we realized that he was extremely bright. And because he was bright, he began to catch on to what these plays and what it meant to hold a position on the football field. Then he also figured out that if I really want to do this, then I've got to do my academic work because I'm not going to be eligible to play if I don't. And I can't get in trouble because if I got discipline problems, they're not going to let me play. So between 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, this new kid emerged that I'm telling you, 5 years later, nobody had given a chance in heck that he would be anywhere other than a dropout and probably incarcerated. He stuck with it, moved to the high school, and quickly became a star linebacker on the Benjamin Russell High School football team. Highly recruited, moved into the junior college ranks for a while to get his feet wet, and then moved to his ultimate goal of playing at Auburn University. And it was a surreal feeling for me to sit there and watch him in the Auburn National Championship game as they defeated Oregon, and remember that 10 years prior, he had a one-on-one aide in special education, and nobody had given him a chance. His name's El Toro Freeman. And we wondered when his mother named him at birth if she had some premonition of what his early years would be like, because El Toro was absolutely an applicable name for him. But as I spoke to him yesterday, he's now with the Ravens and has an NFL career ahead of him. So I share that with you tonight just to bring home to the most personal level about the difference that athletics can make in the life of a child. This kid, I can assure you, would be incarcerated now if he had not got involved in athletics. It took a lot of patience, a lot of coaches that were willing to go the extra mile to make sure that he had the opportunity that so many kids don't have. And he will tell you, by his own admission, that athletics saved him. Not just saved him, but saved his life. And I share that just to say thank you for what you do. There is a bright, bright future for Alabama because of the work you do. Coach Savarese and I are working on several projects now to make our work even more integrated. We're going to try, as we move forward in K-12 education, to remove some of those rules and regulations that are keeping kids from being successful. We released one yesterday. Hopefully it's made its way through some conversation today that we're doing away with the graduation exam and moving to things that are going to make more sense for kids that aren't so high stakes and take up so much of our instructional time. So we really do want to make sure that for all kids, we have an environment where all kids can succeed, and we see you as a great partner in that. Wanda, you told me I had 7 minutes, really, and I think I've done it. So with that, thank you again for having me tonight and for the work you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bice. And now to begin our evening of awards presentations, I'd like to introduce Ron Ingram to recognize the state championship coaches. with the awards to be presented by Mr. Steve Savarese of the AHSAA and Dr. Tommy Bice.
Thank you, Jim. As the coaches are moving down to the front, we'd like to ask our championship coaches to line up according to the program order, starting with volleyball to my right. Over the course of the 2011-12 school year, 57 high schools in Alabama in the AHSAA won a total of 90 state championships. Many coaches directed their teams to state championships for the first time in their coaching careers. Others, like Jim Tate of St. Paul's out there, have been in the winner's circle many times before. But Tate, who led the Saints to state crowns in boys and girls indoor and outdoor track, now has 100 in his long track coaching career. But he admits the thrill of seeing teams reach their ultimate goal never really diminishes. 15 schools won 2 or more state championships this past year, with UMS Wright's 8 leading the state. Tonight, we're here to recognize each of you who led your teams to state titles in one of the sanctioned sports offered by the AHSAA. Congratulations to all of you. Now let's begin. In sports following volleyball, if you'll start lining up football, boys basketball, girls basketball, we'll move this along. Starting with volleyball. Class 1A, Coach Janice Slay of Donahoe. Let's hold our applause after each sport. Class 2A, William Oldfield of Providence Christian. Coach 3A, Ann Schilling of Bayside Academy. Her Lady Admirals won their 10th consecutive state championship this year and the 20th for the school, both state records. Class 4A, Jimmy Latta, Gunnersville. Class 5A, Kelly Hillier, St. Paul's. In Class 6A, Melanie Donahue, Huntsville. Ladies and gentlemen, our state championship volleyball coaches. Okay. Now we move on to football. Class 1A, Russell Funk, Marion County High School. Class 2A, Scott Riles, Elba High School. The Elba Tigers were in a game this year that had to start the second half. Touchdown, kickoff returns, first by Elba, then by Vincent, then by Elba again. 3 in a row, a national record. Class 3A, Mike Battles, Hanley High School. Class 4A, Danny Powell, Jackson High School. Okay. Class 5A, Bob Gotsey, Hartselle High School. Class 6A, Jamie Dubose, Prattville High School. Ladies and gentlemen, our state championship football coaches. Okay, you can be seated. Now for boys basketball. Class 1A, Patrick Plott, Pickens County High School. Class 2A, Raymond White, Barber County High School. Coach White, this year's team finished 34-0, and he also won the 700th game of his career. Class 3A, Craig Williams, Greensboro High School. Class 4A, Darrell Barber, Midfield High School. Class 5A, Cedric Lane, Winona High School. Class 6A, James Jackson, Carver of Montgomery. Ladies and gentlemen, our boys basketball state championship coaches. Now for girls basketball. Class 1A, Renard Davis, McIntosh High School. Class 2A, Danielle Maples, Section High School. Class 3A, Brant Llewellyn, Lauderdale County High School. Class 4A, Ryan Chambliss, Jacksonville High School. Class 5A, Ricky Allen, Brewer High School. Class 6A, Donnie Quinn, Hoover High School. Ladies and gentlemen, the basketball coaches of our girls' state basketball championship teams. And now we move to baseball. Class 1A, Jason Anderson, Shoals Christian High School. Class 2A, Jay Mitchell, Mars Hill Bible School. Class 3A, Ken Whittle, Trinity Presbyterian. He's represented tonight by his wife, Mrs. Whittle. The real coach, she says. Class 4A, Kenny Chafin, Gunnersville High School. Class 5A, Tommy Walker, Spanish Fort High School, and this is not Tommy. This is Barkley Kircher on their coaching staff representing him tonight. A lot prettier than Tommy. And Class 6A, West Brooks, Oxford High School. Ladies and gentlemen, let's congratulate our baseball coaches with state championship coaches. Now we move to softball. Class 1A, Jonathan Nix, Raglan High School. Class 2A, John Smith, Hatton High School. Class 3A, Mike Tucker, Sachs High School. Class 4A, Kelly Rushing, Haleyville. I don't believe he's here. Class 5A, Russell McCarty, Chelsea. Class 6A, Dale Palmer, Sparkman High School. I don't believe Dale is here either. Ladies and gentlemen, the softball state championship coaches. Now we move to wrestling. Class 1A, 4A division, Andrew Holland, Susan Moore High School. Class 5A, Darrell Qualls, Scottsboro High School. Class 6A, Sean Welson, Thompson High School. Ladies and gentlemen, our wrestling state championship coaches for 2012. Now we move to boys cross country. Class 1A, 2A, Joe Swaggart, Cottage Hill Christian. Class 3A, James Terwilliger, Randolph. I don't believe he's here. Class 4A, Pat Galley, UMS Wright. We'll see him often tonight. He led the state this year with 6 state championships. Class 5A, John Esslinger, Scottsboro High School, one of our Hall of Fame members. And Class 6A, Greg Eccles, Mountain Brook High School, another Hall of Fame member, and so is Coach Galley. This is quite a Hall of Fame group of coaches. Ladies and gentlemen, our boys cross country state championship coaches. Some of these will be staying up here. Next, we go to girls cross country championships, class 1A, 2A, Charles Tiller, American Christian. Class 3A, Kevin Weatherall, Montgomery Academy. He's not here. Okay. Class 4A, Coach Galley, Pat Galley, UMS Wright. If you're keeping count, this is number 2. Class 5A, John Esslinger, Scottsboro High School. In Class 6A, Greg Eccles, Mountain Brook High School. Ladies and gentlemen, our girls cross country state championship coaches. If our swimming and diving, outdoor track, for boys and girls, indoor track for boys and girls would move over to this side, we'll move on. First, swimming and diving, boys state championship, Jeffrey Hart, McGill-Tulin. And girls, Coach Lisa Rigsby of Hoover. Is she here? Okay, neither are here. Okay, now we'll move to outdoor track and field boys. Class 1A, Mark Mitchell, Cedar Bluff High School. His team won their 6th consecutive state championship this year. Class 2A, Thomas Harris, Tanner High School. Class 3A, oh, he's not here. Class 3A, Xavier Evans, Greensboro High School. Class 4A, Pat Galley, UMS Wright High School. Class 5A, Jim Tate, St. Paul's High School, another member of our Hall of Fame. And Class 6A, Devin Hind, Hoover High School. Ladies and gentlemen, our outdoor track and field boys state championship coaches for 2012. Now we move to the girls outdoor track and field championships. Class 1A, Joe Carpenter, Cedar Bluff High School. Along with Coach Mitchell, he also won his girls' 6th state championship in a row. Cedar Bluff have won the girls' state championships and boys' titles for the last 6 years. Class 2A, Charles Tiller, American Christian. Class 3A, Alan Foster, Bayside Academy. Coach Schilling is not Coach Foster. She's been here before. Class 4A, Pat Galley, UMS Wright. Class 5A, Jim Tate, St. Paul's. And Class 6A, Coach Devin Hind, Hoover High School. Ladies and gentlemen, our outdoor track and field girls state championship coaches for 2012. Next, we move to indoor track and field, a sport we're truly proud to have added back to our repertoire. A brand new track and field facility in Birmingham was opened, and it was truly an outstanding event, and we hope all of you can go and watch it next year. First, for the indoor track and field boys state champions, Class 1A through 4A, Coach Pat Galley, UMS Wright. That's number 5. Class 5A, Coach Jim Tate, St. Paul's. In Class 6A, Michael Zelwack of Spain Park High School. Ladies and gentlemen, our indoor track and field state championship boys coaches. Now to indoor track and field for the girls. Class 1A, 4A, Coach Pat Galley, UMS Wright. This is number 6. Class 5A, Coach Jim Tate, St. Paul's. And Class 6A, Coach Devin Hine, Hoover High School. Ladies and gentlemen, our indoor track and field girls state championship coaches for 2012. Now for boys tennis. Class 1A, 3A, David Bethea, Montgomery Academy. Class 4A, Rick Cleveland, UMS Wright. Class 5A, Coach Spencer Wooten, Muscle Shoals, not here. And Class 6A, Adam Colossa, Vestavia Hills High School, not here. Ladies and gentlemen, our boys state championship tennis coaches. Now for girls state tennis championships. Class 1A, Class 1A 3A, Denise Tenney of Montgomery Academy. Class 4A, Coach Meredith Jones, UMS Wright. Class 5A, Coach Melissa Baker of St. Paul's. In Class 6A, Coach Susan Farlow of Mountain Brook High School. I don't believe she's here. Ladies and gentlemen, our girls tennis state championship coaches. Now we move to boys soccer, Class 1A through 4A, Sean Gibson, Altamont High School. Don't believe he's here. Class 5A, Coach David DiPiazzo, John Carroll Catholic High School. Class 6A, Coach Frank Morrissey, Auburn High School. Our boys state soccer championship coaches. Now for the girls soccer champions, Class 1A through 4A, Coach Glenn Sylvester of Montgomery Academy. He's not here. Coach 5A, Jonathan Hammett of Chelsea High School. In Class 6A, Coach Luke Hackbarth of Oak Mountain, and I don't believe he's here. Ladies and gentlemen, our girls state championship soccer coaches. Now for boys golf. Class 1A, 2A, Coach Emery Latta of Providence Christian, he's not here. Class 3A, Anthony McCall, Montgomery Academy. Class 4A, Coach Ed Parrish, Aniana High School. I don't believe he's here. Class 5A, Ryan Jones, Fort Payne High School. Not here. And Class 6A, Coach Brian Carter, Spain Park High School. Ladies and gentlemen, our boys state championship golf coaches. Now for our girls golf championships. Class 1A through 5A, Coach Gary Orr, Hartselle High School. He's no stranger to this award. Class 6A, Coach Jack Clayton, Mountain Brook High School. Ladies and gentlemen, our girls golf state championship coaches. Now, one final time, let's congratulate all of our championship coaches for 2011-12.
It's my pleasure to introduce Denise Ainsworth to recognize the winners of the Coaches Children's Scholarships and the National Federation Coach of the Year Awards. These will be presented down on the floor by Coach Alvin Briggs, Director of the Coaches Association.
We are delighted that we are able to provide this service from our association to our member coaches and athletic directors. We cannot thank our coaches enough for the sacrifices they make as a teacher and coach. Their families also sacrifice so very much. This is one way the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association can show its appreciation and help the children at the same time. As we announce the student's name, we ask that the parents join their child up front for the presentation. We also ask that all remain up front until the conclusion of the presentations. Our first recipient of the $1,000 scholarship, Catherine Ship of Davidson High School, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Charlie Ship. Courtney Nicole Douglas of Red Level High School, daughter of Dolores and Johnny Douglas. Kimberly K. Hines, Benjamin Russell High School, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jeff Hines. Robert Bagwell of Spain Park High School, son of Renee and Kenneth Hand. Trevor Scott Ford, Piedmont High School, son of Sandra Aiken and Jeff Ford. Victoria Noel Williamson, Talladega High School, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. John Williamson. Ashlyn Renee Lane, Sylacauga High School, daughter of Greg and April Lane. Grace Newton, Lauderdale County High School, daughter of Mark and Bridget Newton. Ethan Farr, Vina High School, son of James and Robin Farr. Haley Miller, Hartselle High School, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Tim Miller. Having one daughter in graduate school and one that's in college, we should congratulate the parents as well as these students on a job well done. Please join me as we congratulate them. It is also my distinct privilege to present the National Federation of High School Coach of the Year Awards. The National Federation High School Coaches Association honors coaches annually at the national level, sectional level, and at the state level. It is my pleasure to announce those coaches from the Alabama High School Athletic Association who have been recognized for their outstanding achievement by the National Federation for the 2011 year. 3 coaches from the AHSAA were recipients of Section 3 Coach of the Year Awards. Section 3 consists of the state of Alabama, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Louisiana. We ask that each coach come forward when their name is announced and remain until all are introduced and recognized. 2011 Section 3 Football Coach of the Year, Stacy Luker, Sweetwater High School. (2011) Section 3 Boys Cross Country Coach of the Year, John Esslinger, Scottsboro High School. Let's congratulate the 3 section coaches. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't count. That's only 2. The 2011 Section 3 Softball Coach of the Year, John Smith, Hatton High School. Sorry, Coach Smith. Now let's congratulate 3 coaches. The National Federation also presents Coach of the Year awards at the state level. These coaches were selected by a committee and submitted to the National Federation by the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association. We ask each of these coaches to please come forward and remain until all are introduced. The 2011 National Federation State Coach of the Year recipients include Boys Swimming and Diving, Marvin Chow of Randolph School. You may clap. State Wrestling Coach of the Year, Sean Wilson of Thompson High School. State Baseball Coach of the Year, Mark Mincher, Huntsville High School. State Boys Tennis Coach of the Year, Rick Cleveland, UMS Wright High School. State Boys Soccer Coach of the Year, Jesse Gamez, Fort Payne High School. State Boys Golf Coach of the Year, Sanford Santoli, St. Paul's Episcopal High School. State Volleyball Coach of the Year, Pam Wilkins, Addison High School. State Girls Cross Country Coach of the Year, Charles Tiller, American Christian High School. State Girls Basketball Coach of the Year, Tim Miller, Bob Jones High School. State Girls Track and Field Coach of the Year, Greg Eccles, Mountain Brook High School. State Girls Tennis Coach of the Year, Denise Tenney, Montgomery Academy. State Girls Soccer Coach of the Year, Barclay Kircher, Spanish Fort High School. Would you please give all of these state coaches of the year a round of applause?
It says dead battery on it. I don't know why I just raised it. The battery's dead. But that won't help. The battery being dead won't hurt our next presenter or myself. Please come forward. To come forward now is Miss Wanda Gillen to introduce our next special presentation.
Thanks, Coach Talbert. I appreciate that. What an honor it is for me to introduce our presenter for this next award. It's the Dr. Lawrence Lemack Award. Dr. Lemack is not here tonight. He is in Baltimore fulfilling some other obligations. But let me just tell you a little bit about the Dr. Lemack Award. Coach Savarese has already mentioned that for the past few years, this award has totaled over $120,000 given back to our schools. It's a need-based award, and Dr. Lemack is one of these people who gives back, and that's what we're on this earth to do, is to give back. Let me read a little bit about Dr. Lemack. He is one of the renowned orthopedic surgeons in this state and in the nation. He also serves on the AHSAA Medical Advisory Committee. He co-chairs that. Plus, he is a member of the National Federation Advisory Medical Committee. And we're very honored to be a part of Dr. Lemack's awards tonight. Representing Dr. Lemack is Mr. Matthew Lemack. Matthew is the chairman of the National Center for Sports Safety and Chief Executive Officer of the Lemack Sports Medicine. Matthew also serves on the selection committee for this award, and this is something he and I have talked about tonight. This is one of his favorite things to do, is to serve on this committee. Now at this time, I'd ask Matthew, Coach Savarese, if you will come down front and help us present these awards, please. Do we get a reduction in the cost for the time I just lost? Okay. Thank you very much. We got to cut corners any way we can. Right, Dr. Bice? That's right. I would like for each school, when your name is called, your representative to come forward, and all 10, please wait in the front until all the recipients have been made their presentation. From Addison High School, Principal Michael Smothers. Representing Addison High School tonight is Coach Pam Wilkins. You clap. From Brantley High School, Principal Dodd Hawthorne. From Central Acusa High School, Mr. Keith Bullard. From Chilton County High School, Mr. Greg DeJarnette. From Enterprise High School, Principal Matt Rogers, accepting his athletic director, Kevin Collins. From Fruitdale High School, Principal is Dr. Alfred Taylor, accepting tonight for Fruitdale are coaches Jacob Webb and Matt Moore. From Hatton High School, Principal Brett Gillespie, accepting softball coach John Smith. From A.L. Johnson High School, Principal Napoleon Peterson. From Notasoga High School, Principal Belinda Sullins. from Slocum High School. Representing Slocum High School is the middle school principal, Debbie Hope. On behalf of the Alabama High School Athletic Association, Dr. Lee Mack and Matthew Lee Mack, let's again welcome and congratulate all our schools.
The Alabama High School Athletic Association and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association recognizes one school athletic director each annually as Athletic Director of the Year. The athletic director is usually the one behind the scenes organizing staff, taking care of many details that none of us ever notice until one of those details are not in order. They work tirelessly for all sports in their schools. This year's Athletic Director of the Year, Larry Morris of Scottsboro High School, is one of the best this state has ever seen. He has come up through the ranks of coaching where he has proven to be an outstanding teacher, coach, along the way. His leadership in District 8 and on the Alabama High School Athletic Association Central Board of Control has always been outstanding and in the best interest of all the student athletes in the school across the state. This past year was regrettably his last since he has announced his retirement already. In his last year as AD for Scottsboro, his school won 3 state championships and showed outstanding improvement in all areas. His dedication to good sportsmanship has been a model for all of us. Let's now welcome Coach Larry Morris, the 2011-12 Athletic Director of the Year. Presenting the award are AHSAA Executive Director Steve Savarese and AHSS Coaches and Athletic Directors Association Director Alvin Briggs. Congratulations, Coach Morris.
We'll bring back up Denise Ainsworth, who will recognize our past president of the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association, with the award to be presented by Alvin Briggs.
One of the perks of being a coach is getting to know and getting to meet other coaches. We are a kindred spirit, all of us coaches, and it unites us together. And if you work long enough with people, you become family. And it has been my privilege over the past 5 years to work with Mr. Jim Hunter, affectionately known as the Flirt. So over the past year, Jim has been the president of the Coaches Association, and he has worked tirelessly as a volunteer. That's not a paid position. And he has worked tirelessly to try to promote our coaches and try to make things better for our coaches in our state. And at this time, we would like to present him with the Past President's Award, Mr. Jim Hunter.